the new girl from another world. The school bell rang loudly across Orion High. Students filled the wide hallway, laughing, chatting, opening lockers. Everything looked normal until the main entrance opened. Every head turned. A girl walked in. She wasn't human. She was tall, with silver hair that shimmered like moonlight. Her skin had a soft glow and her eyes were large and bright violet, almost like gemstones. Her uniform was perfect, but her energy felt different. She looked calm, but her expression was careful. She walked slowly, like she was ready for anything. Her name was Zareen, daughter of the galactic ambassador from Nyrix. She was not just any alien. She was royalty. And now she was here, at a human high school, because of a new peace program between Earth and Nyrix. One alien student would study on Earth. One human student would later study on Nyrix. But no one knew why the EU ambassador really agreed to the deal. Zareen's first step into the school felt heavier than it should. She looked around, sensing every whisper, every stare, every heartbeat. Human emotions were loud to her kind. Fear, curiosity, jealousy. She could feel them all pressing against her. A group of students laughed as she passed. Some stared openly. Others looked away, pretending not to care. But one boy didn't laugh. He didn't look away. His name was Ethan Cole. Quiet, sharp, sitting on the bench near the admin office. His school record said he was average, but that was a lie. Ethan was not here by accident. He was placed in Orion High by the Earth Security Division. His mission: observe the alien girl, keep her safe, report anything strange. He never signed. Up for this, Ethan looked at Zareen, watched her every move, but his face stayed calm. He noticed how she didn't blink often, how her hands were tense even though her eyes looked peaceful. Zareen paused near her locker. The number was glowing faintly. Human lockers didn't glow. She touched it gently, and it opened without sound. Inside was a book bag, a few notebooks, and a small cube. She frowned. That cube wasn't hers. She picked it up. The small alien device pulsed once and then turned black. No signal, no sound. But it had done something. Zareen quickly slipped it into her coat pocket and closed the locker. She didn't see Ethan watching closely. He saw her hesitation. He saw the cube. He wrote 3 words in his notebook: unknown tech device. Later that day, Zareen entered her first class, Galactic History. The teacher, Mrs. Elwood, smiled. Too much. Welcome, Zareen, she said brightly. Students, this is our first interstellar guest. Please be kind. Most students clapped politely. A few rolled their eyes. A girl in the back muttered, just great. A glowing freak. Zareen heard it. Her ears were sharper than theirs, but she didn't respond. She just sat down near the window, alone. Ethan sat across the room. He noticed the way she looked out the window, like she missed her home planet. Already. Nyrix was far, and Earth was loud, messy, and full of emotions. Too many emotions. Halfway through the class, Zareen touched her temple. Her head ached. She closed her eyes, then suddenly heard a strange buzzing inside her mind. Something was wrong. She stood up fast, knocking her chair down. Everyone turned. Zareen's eyes flashed bright for a second, violet to silver, then back again. She shook her head and mumbled, I need air. She walked out quickly. The teacher looked confused but said nothing. Ethan stood too. I'll check on her, he offered, already moving before anyone could say no. Outside, behind the building near the quiet garden, Zareen stood under the shade. Her breathing was fast. She pulled out the small cube from her pocket. It was glowing. Again. A message appeared in thin air above it. We are watching. Act natural. Her hands trembled. Before she could crush the cube, Ethan stepped forward. Quietly. Calmly. Are you okay? He asked. Zareen quickly hid the cube. I'm fine, she said. Just dizzy. Your gravity feels heavier. He nodded. Earth can be weird. There was silence between them. You don't belong here, do you? Ethan asked gently. Zareen looked at him. For a second, her voice softened. No. But I have to stay. and then she walked away. That night, Ethan sent a coded message to the security agency. Target made contact with unknown tech. Possible outside influence. Need further analysis. Student shows signs of fear. Trust is possible. Recommend silent observation. No interference yet. But Ethan didn't write everything. He didn't mention how she looked at him, or how for just a moment he felt her sadness. Something deep was starting. Something bigger than both of them. And someone, somewhere, was already planning to end it. Ethan couldn't sleep that night. Zareen's face stayed in his mind, those silver eyes, her calm voice, and the cube glowing in her hand. He had seen things like that before, during secret missions, but never in the hands of a teenage girl. He was supposed to be just a student, a shadow, a watcher, but now he felt something different. The next morning, Ethan sat near the school gate before anyone arrived. His tablet showed a message from his handler. Stay close to her. Do not reveal identity. Protect the ambassador's daughter at all costs. He sighed and slipped the tablet away. No pressure, he muttered. Then he saw her. Zareen walked, alone toward the school building, dressed perfectly, face calm. But Ethan noticed something strange. She was scanning the walls, the rooftops, even the trees. She knew. She felt the danger, and someone else was watching her too. Inside the school, things started to get stranger. In biology class, the classroom projector glitched. The lights flickered. For a second, a strange alien symbol flashed across the screen. The teacher blamed old tech, but Zareen froze when she saw it. Ethan caught the look in her eyes. Fear. At lunch, Zareen sat alone again. No one joined her. Some students still whispered about her glowing hair. Others filmed her secretly with their phones. A boy from another grade, big and loud, walked up to her table. "Hey, alien girl," he said, smirking. "You eat real food, or just drink moonlight?" Zareen didn't answer. The boy grabbed her tray and flipped it onto the floor. Ethan stood before he even realized it. In 2 long steps, he was between Zareen and the boy. "Pick it up," Ethan said coldly. The boy laughed. "Why? She your girlfriend now, space lover." Students started gathering, phones out. Zareen looked surprised. No one had ever defended her before, not even her own kind. Before anything else happened, a tall man in a teacher's coat stepped forward. "Enough," he said. But Ethan stared at him. Something about that man was off. His steps were too smooth. His voice too perfect. Zareen narrowed her eyes. She was thinking the same thing. That man wasn't a teacher. Later, Zareen cornered Ethan in the library. "Why did you step in?" she asked. Her voice was soft but firm. "I don't like bullies," Ethan said. "You didn't do it for me?" Ethan hesitated. "I did." Zareen watched him closely, then said something that shocked him. "I know you're not just a student." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" She leaned in closer. "Your heartbeat is calm when everyone else panics. You notice things normal people don't, and this..." She handed him the cube. Ethan took it carefully. It was now silent. Dead. "I don't know what it is," she said. "But someone planted it in my locker on the first day." "Not yours?" Ethan asked. "No." Ethan looked at the cube. "This is a Nyrixin signal tracer, but corrupted. It can call ships or attackers." Zareen nodded. "I think someone wants to ruin the peace deal between our worlds. Or kill you," Ethan said quietly. She didn't flinch. "That too." That night, Zareen opened her private communication mirror. A soft blue light hovered above it. Her mother, the ambassador, appeared, but her image was blurred, weak. "Mother," Zareen whispered. "My child, I don't have much time. I'm sending this from a hidden channel." "What's wrong?" "There is a traitor in our own circle. They're using humans. Trust no one. Except the boy. I've read his file." Zareen's eyes widened. "You planned this?" "I hoped it wouldn't be needed, but now. He's your silent guard. Keep him close." Then the light faded. The next day, Zareen walked into class and saw Ethan already, seated. Their eyes met, and for the first time she smiled. Ethan blinked, surprised, then smiled back. But what neither of them saw was the teacher standing by the hallway door. He was speaking quietly into a device hidden in his coat. "They've made contact. Begin phase 2. Prepare extraction." In another part of the galaxy, far from Earth, a group of shadowy figures watched the scene from a black screen. "Should we end her now?" one asked. "No," another replied. "Let her believe she's safe. Let the human get closer." "Why?" "Because when we take her, he'll follow." The sun outside blazed brightly, but inside Orion High a storm was brewing. Zareen entered the lunchroom carrying a silver tray. She walked with grace, her glowing hair tied in a neat braid. She had learned to ignore the stares. She had learned to act normal. But today, something felt wrong. The voices were louder. The lights were flickering slightly, and someone had rearranged the tables. The spot where she always sat, near the window, was now surrounded by students she didn't know. Still, she kept her head high and sat down. Ethan watched her from across the room. He saw it too. The girl with the pink hair 2 tables away was new. So was the boy with the odd mark on his neck. He hadn't seen them in school before. His instincts screamed, "They don't belong here." Zareen tried to eat, but her fingers tensed. She reached for her glass of water and paused. It was warm, too warm. She scanned the lunchroom. Everyone looked normal on the outside, but 3 people didn't blink, not even once. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed. A tray dropped. Everyone looked. A fight? A joke? Zareen turned and her vision flashed white. A pulse shot across the room, invisible to humans, but to her, it felt like knives in the air, a frequency only Nyrixans could feel. She stood up fast, her eyes now glowing bright silver. Then, everything happened at once. A girl lunged toward Zareen, her human skin peeling away, revealing an alien beneath, dark green with thin arms and sharp eyes. Not a student. Not even from this system. A spy. A hunter. Zareen stumbled back, shocked, but before the creature reached her, Ethan tackled it to the floor. The 2 struggled as chairs scattered and students screamed. Someone shouted, "It's a prank!" Another screamed, "She's attacking her!" Zareen tried to warn them, but the frequency buzzed again. A second attacker. The pink-haired girl leaped over a table, going straight for Zareen. But suddenly, a loud boom. A disguised teacher, the same one who stopped the fight yesterday, fired a stun blast into the ceiling. "Everyone out. Evacuate!" he roared. Students ran screaming toward the doors. But Zareen and Ethan didn't move. They stood back to back, surrounded by 2 revealed alien assassins. The male hunter snarled at Ethan, who held nothing but a lunch tray as a shield. "You're just a boy," the creature hissed. "Maybe," Ethan replied, "but I fight dirty." And with that, he smashed the tray into the alien's face, then ducked as Zareen fired a beam of light from her palm, a defensive Nyrixan spark, stunning the female attacker. "Get to the science lab," Ethan shouted. "The walls are shielded." Zareen nodded and they ran together through a side door. Inside the lab, they slammed the door shut. Ethan pressed a button on his wrist. A pulse locked the door. Zareen leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "How many are there?" "I don't know," Ethan said. "But those 2 weren't working alone." Zareen's voice shook. "They used Nyrixan frequencies to disorient me. You okay?" "No, but I'll fight." Ethan looked at her, seeing not just a quiet alien girl anymore, but a fighter, a royal, a survivor. He took a deep breath. "I was placed here to protect you, Zareen. But I think this is bigger than both of us." Zareen looked at him. "I know. They don't want peace. They want war. And I'm the first strike." In the dark hallway, the fake teacher, Agent Varnak, picked up the stunned attackers. His face shifted, revealing alien tech hidden beneath his skin. He spoke into his comm. Test complete. Nyrixen Girls Defense activated. Human operative responded. Connection confirmed. Begin stage 3. And then he vanished into the shadows. Back in the lab, Zareen opened her palm. A small orb formed from her skin, glowing softly. What is that? Ethan asked. A Nyrixen memory seal. I kept something hidden in it. A map of something Earth has forgotten, and someone wants it badly. What's it a map to? Zareen hesitated, then whispered. To the vault where our ancestors buried the Genesis key. Ethan blinked. The Genesis key? I thought that was a myth. Zareen looked at him, serious. It's real. And if it falls into the wrong hands, Earth won't survive. The school seemed normal again by morning. Lockers were fixed. Hallways were calm. Teachers acted like nothing had happened, but it was a lie. The lunchroom had been cleaned, but the smell of burnt circuits still hung in the air. The 2 alien attackers had disappeared, and no one gave answers. Students were told it was a special effects accident from a student film. Zareen wasn't fooled, and neither was Ethan. Zareen met Ethan near the greenhouse during study break. She wore a long coat now to cover the small scar on her arm, a reminder of yesterday's fight. They're covering it up, she whispered. Why? Because this school isn't just a school, Ethan replied, lowering his voice. I did some digging. Orion High is built over an old military complex, underground. Zareen's eyes narrowed. A vault? Possibly. The map inside your memory seal. It glows stronger near the old gym. Zareen touched the orb hidden in her coat pocket. It hummed softly now. Warmer. Alive. She looked up at Ethan. We need to go down there. Tonight. Ethan nodded. I already found the way in. That night, after everyone had left, they returned. Orion High stood quiet under the moonlight. Lights flickered weakly inside. Security drones hovered slowly above the grounds, but Ethan had disabled their scanners using a bypass key he borrowed from his security agency handler. They entered through a maintenance door behind the gym. Down a narrow metal stairway deep into darkness. The further they walked, the colder it became. Zareen's orb pulsed stronger with every step. They stopped in front of an old metal door. It was half-rusted, but ancient alien symbols glowed faintly. On its surface, Ethan stared. These aren't Earth designs. No, Zareen whispered. They're Nyrixen, from before the galactic split, thousands of years ago. The door slid open slowly, revealing a hidden room filled with soft blue lights. Inside were cryopods, dozens of them. Zareen stepped forward, shocked. Inside each pod was a person, but not human. Nyrixens, she whispered. Old ones. Forgotten ones. Ethan read the data panel. They've been sleeping for hundreds of years. Why would they be buried under a human school? Then he saw something worse. In the center of the room was a small container sealed in 10 layers of glass. Inside was a key-shaped crystal. Zareen gasped. The Genesis key. Before she could reach it, a voice echoed in the room. I wouldn't touch that. They turned fast. Agent Varnak, the fake teacher, stood at the doorway holding a laser blade. He smiled, but his eyes were cold. You weren't supposed to find this yet, he said. But I suppose you've forced my hand. Zareen moved in front of the key. You're not with the Earth Security Division, she said. No, Varnak replied. I work for something older, something that fears what you carry in your blood. Ethan stepped beside her. You want the Genesis key? Varnak's smile widened. I don't just want it. I need it. It can rewrite species, shape new worlds, or erase entire ones. He raised his blade. Ethan drew a stun gun and fired. Varnak dodged, fast as lightning, and lunged forward. Zareen raised her hand. A glowing shield appeared between them. Energy cracked the air, but Varnak was too strong. He punched through the shield, sending them both crashing backward. The Genesis key's container cracked. Light exploded from it, bright, hot, and alive. Zareen's orb melted into the key, fusing. She stood, glowing like a star. "Enough," she said. With a wave of her hand, energy burst from her chest, ancient Nyrixan force. It knocked Varnak to the wall. He groaned, stunned. Ethan pulled Zareen back. "We need to go, now." But she stood firm. Not yet. She walked to the key and placed both hands on it. The lights in the room dimmed, and the sleeping Nyrixans, inside the pods, opened their eyes. The old ones began to wake. One of them, a tall, pale figure, looked at Zareen and whispered, "You are the heir." Ethan looked around. "What is this place?" Zareen's voice was soft. "It's not just a vault, it's a cradle. A last shelter for my kind if war ever destroyed Nyrix." She turned to Ethan. "And now, someone knows it still exists." Outside the gym, in the far dark corners of the city, glowing eyes lit up, receivers activated, signals were sent. The hunt had just begun. The city was not sleeping. Above Orion High, silent black drones circled the sky like vultures. On the ground, unmarked vehicles rolled toward the school. Inside them sat Earth's top military agents. No lights, no sirens, just orders. Secure, the alien girl. Recover the artifact, eliminate threats. Underground, beneath the gym, Zareen sat cross-legged in the center of the hidden vault. Around her, the ancient Nyrixans stood slowly, weak from centuries of stasis. Their eyes flickered open one by one, glowing like dying stars. Ethan stood beside her, staring at the Genesis key in her hands. Its crystal edge pulsed with life. It seemed to hum in tune with Zareen's heartbeat. "You really are the heir," Ethan whispered. Zareen looked up at him. "I didn't ask for this. I came here to study, not lead a species." One of the awakened elders stepped forward, the tall one who had spoken earlier. "You are the last of the bloodline that can control the key," he said. "The only one left who can activate what lies beneath Earth." Ethan blinked. "Wait. Beneath Earth?" Zareen stood, her voice steady now. "The Genesis key doesn't just unlock weapons when it unlocks seeds, bio-blueprints. We hid them here before Earth had cities." Ethan took a step back. "So this isn't just a vault. It's a backup planet," Zareen nodded. "If Nyrix ever fell, Earth was Plan B. Our ancestors believed your planet was full of promise, a place where both species could live. But now someone wants to use it for war," Ethan said. "And that someone is already coming." Above ground, Agent Varnak limped into a communication bunker. His disguise was gone. His body flickered with alien implants, half human, half something else. He contacted the shadows across the galaxy. "She has the key. The cradle is open." The reply came in a voice like smoke. "Then Earth must burn." Back underground, Zareen held the key tightly. Its glow shifted and suddenly showing images in the air. Earth's leaders, military orders, Ethan's secret file. She turned to him slowly. "You lied to me." Ethan's face dropped. "Zareen, you were sent to watch me, spy on me. All this time, I was," he said softly. "But it changed. You changed it. I don't care about orders anymore. I care about you." Zareen's expression softened. Her fingers relaxed. The key dimmed. "I want to believe that," she whispered. Suddenly, the vault shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Alarms blared on Ethan's wrist device. "They're breaching the tunnels." The Nyrixan elder stepped forward. "You must choose now, child. If you activate the key, Earth will know your power. They will fear you, or you can hide it again, but you'll lose your one chance to protect both our worlds." Ethan stepped closer. "You don't have to decide alone." But Zareen stepped away. "I'm not a student anymore, Ethan," she said. "I'm something Earth may never accept." Above, Earth soldiers entered the gym. They stormed the stairwell, weapons drawn, voices cold. "Target is below. Move fast." Secure the alien. Back in the vault, Zareen stood in front of a glowing console. The Genesis key floated above it. Ethan watched her, unsure of what she'd do. Then, a memory flickered in her mind. Her mother's voice. The humans are not perfect, but they have heart. One of them will protect you even when others won't. She looked at Ethan and smiled. Then she pressed the key into the console. A blinding light filled the chamber. The floor split open. Roots of glowing vines rose from the ground. Giant walls of living metal bloomed upward. It wasn't a weapon. It was life. It was hope. The vault transformed into a sanctuary, a living fusion of Earth and Nyrixan design, a garden of knowledge, of rebirth, and at its heart stood Zareen. The Earth soldiers burst into the room and unfroze, not because of the light, but because of what they saw. Not a weapon, not a threat, just a girl, protecting something beautiful. Ethan raised his hand slowly. She didn't attack. She saved this place. She saved all of us. The soldiers lowered their guns for now. But far beyond Earth, in the cold black of space, warships stirred, and one message echoed across the stars. The key has awakened. The air has chosen Earth. Prepare for war. For one brief moment, everything stood still. Zareen stood inside the glowing sanctuary deep beneath Orion High. The Genesis key floated in the air above her hand, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. Around her, alien vines shimmered with life. A peaceful silence wrapped the vault, but peace never lasts. Above ground, a sleek black jet landed near the school. Doors hissed open, and a tall woman stepped out. Sharp suit, cold eyes. Director, Helena Ward, head of Earth's Global Security Council. She didn't smile. She never did. Bring me the girl, she ordered. And the boy if he resists. Ethan stood near Zareen as Earth soldiers surrounded them. He kept his hands raised, but his heart raced. Some of the soldiers looked confused, unsure whether to treat Zareen as a guest or a threat. Zareen turned to Ethan. They're scared, I can feel it. Ethan nodded. They don't understand what you've done, what this place really is. From behind the troops, Director Ward entered the vault. She stopped in front of the sanctuary's edge, staring at Zareen. You've activated alien tech without permission, Ward said. You've awakened ancient forces hidden under human soil. This is not how treaties work. Zareen didn't flinch. This is not just your soil. My people placed it here long before humans built cities. Ward's voice turned sharp. And now your people threaten war. Do you deny the incoming fleet? Zareen's eyes widened. What fleet? Ward held up a tablet. It showed giant ships entering Earth's outer orbit. Thousands of them, massive, dark, armed. Not my people, Zareen whispered. These aren't from Nyrix. These are outlaws, exiled warriors from the war long ago. They want the key. They'll destroy Earth to get it. Ward folded her arms. Then surrender the key to us. Earth will protect it. Ethan stepped forward. No. If Earth takes the key, it becomes a weapon. Zareen added softly. And if the wrong human leader holds it, we'll lose everything. Ward's eyes narrowed. Then you leave me no choice. She turned to the soldiers. Take them. Before they could move, the vines surrounding the key surged upward. Sharp, beautiful, alive, blocking the path. Zareen raised her hand slowly. No more fear, she said. If Earth sees me as a threat, so be it. But I won't run. The Nyrixan elder from earlier stepped forward and bowed to Zareen. You have chosen truth, not power, and so the vault is yours. He turned to the soldiers. Any attempt to take the key will be seen as war by those who remain loyal to Nyrix. Ward hesitated. She was tough, but not stupid. Fighting inside a living alien sanctuary, in front of cameras and military satellites, that would end badly. Stand down, she said to the troops reluctantly. For now. Later that night, Ethan and Zareen hid in the abandoned science wing of the school. Power was still out, and sirens could be heard far in the distance. Zareen looked tired, not physically, but inside. I never wanted this. she said quietly. I just wanted to be a student. Ethan sat beside her. You were, and you still are. Just a very rare one. She chuckled, but it faded quickly. Now I've made both sides angry. Earth doesn't trust me, and Nyrix, they think I've chosen humans over my own kind. Ethan looked into her eyes. You chose peace. That's never easy. They sat in silence. Then Zareen said something that froze Ethan. They'll come for me. Earth might hand me over, to avoid war. No, Ethan said firmly. I won't let that happen. You can't stop them alone. Then I won't be alone. He stood up. I know someone. Someone who doesn't follow orders. Someone who believes in people. Even aliens. Meanwhile, far across space, in the command room of a massive outlaw fleet, a warlord stared at Earth on the screen. Activate the gravity spears, he ordered. We'll pull the vault out of the ground and crush whatever protects it. His second-in-command asked, What if the air resists? The warlord smiled darkly. Then burn the school. Back on Earth, in the darkness of the school's garden, Zareen stood under the twin moons. She whispered to the stars in her language, and somewhere in the sky, something whispered back. Night had fallen over Earth, but the sky wasn't dark. 2 moons glowed above Orion High, bathing the school in silver light. Yet above them, a far darker shadow loomed. The outlaw alien fleet had arrived. Massive warships blocked the stars. Silent, watching, waiting. Inside the lead ship, the warlord gave a single order. Begin extraction. Tear the vault from the Earth. Far below, deep in the sanctuary beneath the school, the Genesis key pulsed wildly in Zareen's hands. The vines trembled. The walls vibrated. Dust fell from the ceiling as invisible forces reached down from orbit, pulling, shaking, ripping. Zareen stood in the center of it all, calm, but her eyes filled with sorrow. They're trying to lift the vault into space, she said. They want the key, or they'll destroy Earth to get it. Ethan stood beside her, sweat on his brow. Then let's give them something they don't expect. Zareen turned to him. You can still leave. You're human. You don't have to die for me. Ethan didn't hesitate. I'm not just here for you. I'm here for us. For peace. If they want a war, we show them what humans and aliens can do together. The Nyrixan elder nodded. The key will listen to her voice, but it will respond to his heart. Zareen looked at Ethan. Ready? He reached for her hand. Let's finish this. Above the city, energy spears fired from the outlaw fleet, invisible beams latching onto the sanctuary below. The school shook violently. Streets cracked, buildings trembled, Earth's defense systems activated, missiles launched, fighters flew up like birds against a falling mountain. But they were too late. The vault was rising. Inside the sanctuary, Zareen stepped into the center of the platform. The Genesis key hovered between her palms. Its light was no longer silver. It was gold, warm, alive. Ethan placed his hand over hers. What are you doing? The elder asked. Ethan smiled. Making sure this is ours, not just hers. Zareen whispered to the key, and suddenly, light exploded from the sanctuary. The vines extended upward, through metal, stone, and earth, bursting out of the school grounds, twisting like golden roots into the sky. They wrapped around the gravity spears, blocking them, fighting back. In space, the warlord roared, "Cut through it, fire!" But the vines grew stronger. The vault stopped rising, and then it began to sink back into the earth. On Earth, Director Ward watched from her bunker. Her soldiers were ready, but she held them back. Zareen and Ethan were doing what no treaty, no weapon, no council had ever done. They were fighting for both worlds at once, and winning. Inside the vault, Zareen gasped as visions filled her mind. Every human she met, every alien that died in war, every lost child, every home ruined by conflict. I can't do it alone, she whispered. You're not alone, Ethan said. I'm here. She looked at him. Then lend me your voice. Together they shouted a single command. Enough! In space, every outlaw ship received a message, not through comms, but directly into their minds, a pulse, a wave of peace, of warning, and of power. The Genesis key had chosen its guardians. The fleet wavered. Some ships turned away, others went dark. The warlord screamed as his systems overloaded, and then his flagship exploded. Back on Earth, the vault sealed itself again, the vines gently pulling it down deeper into the planet's core, hidden but alive. The school returned to silence. Zareen fell to her knees, exhausted. Ethan caught her before she could hit the ground. You did it? He whispered. She smiled weakly. We did it. Weeks later, the news was everywhere. Alien girl saves Earth from unknown invaders. Human student risks life for galactic peace. Earth-Nyrix alliance, stronger than ever. But for Zareen and Ethan, none of that mattered. What mattered was that they were no longer just a student and a spy. They were friends. Maybe more, and they had changed the galaxy. Together. In a quiet corner of Orion High, beneath the tree where they first spoke alone, Zareen looked at the sky. Do you think they'll come back? She asked softly. Ethan shrugged. If they do, they'll find out Earth doesn't stand alone anymore. She smiled, then reached for his hand. And above them, for the first time in years, the stars looked peaceful,